What is up, RotoGrinders? An hour and 40 minutes nonstop MLB DFS conversation. I say an hour and 40 minutes because the slate does kick off early today, 6:40 on the East Coast. Crunch time coming in early for that reason as well. They're jumping on around 6 o'clock on the East Coast. We do get the return of Kevin Roth, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, and we'll drop his weather report here in just a second, but nothing especially dicey out there. With Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, and Kirkwood, KirkDiese, leader of the Juggalos, coming on at crunch time as well. It's myself and Chop on a movie Monday. Hopefully, Chop, your weekend was good. Hopefully Father's Day treated you well. How are things? Any gripes, any complaints? How are things in Chop's world?
Oh, dude, that's all right. Can't complain. I mean, I can't complain.
You can.
Well, I can. Okay. Like I was telling TJ earlier, we did a basketball show. The complaint I would have is who sits down and looks at the NBA when they're doing the final schedule.
Yeah.
And, it's predetermined. So you know when it's going to start. You know the day you're going to start it, regardless of the conference championships. So who looks at all that and goes, you know what? Let's get Game 5 on Monday, June 16th, instead of Sunday, Father's Day, June 15th. Let's do it on Monday instead. Like, who does that? So we were deprived of a basketball game last night, but at least we get one tonight. But I don't know. That'd be my only complaint right now, Dean.
Extra travel day, I guess. I hear you though. It probably would have people care about the ratings, and some people are obsessed by it, which is so strange. But whatever, it's a different conversation. But surely the game would rate better on a Sunday night than it would tonight. I did see they are going to have the introductions for the starting lineup. Is actually going to be that's going to change the ratings for sure.
Well, it's probably something they should have been doing the whole time. I mean, that's part of the electricity of the NBA Finals, man. Is bring it back.
They haven't done it like in 12 years.
I know. Bring back lineups, man. Bring it back at the Final Four too. That's always electric.
The hockey does it. Hockey does the the starting starting lineups in hockey are kind of silly, obviously. But for the hockey Stanley Cup, they've been showing the starting lineups. They're off the ice in 40 seconds, but yeah, I don't know what. I guess it's selling. They just got to sell more commercials, I suppose. But yeah, it's a great atmosphere, I imagine, there at OKC, Indiana. Supposedly OKC is like one of the loudest buildings in the NBA, and I'm sure Indiana is not far behind. Supposedly a spectacular building there, and obviously really good basketball fans in Indiana as well. We got some scratches on this slate. Both pitchers in the Athletics and your Astros have been swapped out. We're expecting McCullers. McCullers has now landed on the IL, so he's going to be out for a bit. Ryan Gusto throwing baseballs tonight for Houston. Mitch Spence instead of J.P. Sears. We have the return of Giancarlo Stanton. He's back. He's in the lineup today for the Yankees. No real weather issues I mentioned before. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat if you want to read it, but nothing terribly exciting. Happy to have Roth back. Obviously, he'll be on in an hour or so. It's a movie Monday, so I guess I could drop the first clue. Like, sure, why not? Let's drop the first clue for the people, Chop. The first clue for movie Monday, and you guys know how this goes. You tell me what movie I'm talking about in the Discord channel. That's rotogrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Be the first to tell me what movie I'm talking about. One clue, one guess per clue drop. And the first clue is Hammer. Hammer is the first clue, Chop. So get in that Discord. I know, Chop, you like to play along as well. Get in the private chat and tell me what movie we're talking about. Have at it with Hammer. Do you want to say what's up to the chat? I'm not officially said hello. Hey, hit that like button and subscribe. Subscribe, turn on notifications, do all those things. Hit all those buttons to help us keep the lights on here. Yeah, they're talking about the Chicago Bulls starring the epic. I guess we'll get the return, if nothing else, of the John Tesh music. What's Round Ball Rock? Is that what it's called? Round Ball Rock, right? That NBA and NBC is coming back next year. I can't sing too much, but otherwise we'll get struck probably. But although I'd probably sing it bad enough where there's no AI that can even identify it. But there you go. You remember that, Chop? If you're old enough, you remember the music. You know what I'm talking about, yes?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Unfortunately, though, they're pretty much doing away with the TNT part of it. Like that whole cast.
They say they're going to let them do their thing, and they're filming in Atlanta. I'm not telling you it's going to be the same. I don't know. We'll know it if it's not the same. That like Barkley and these guys
Charles Barkley said it was not the same. The preliminary stuff they've done is not the same. So
same producers, same directors, it's the same people. They're going to be filming out of Atlanta. So supposedly it's going to be just given to a different outlet essentially, and they need the extended period. They need to have 10 minutes to riff, and that's the thing. Like, or 15 minutes to just riff on nonsense. They need the time, and will NBC give it to them is the question. I'm hesitant to say that too, but according to NBC, for now, they say that they're going to give them all the liberties they had at TNT, but I think it's fair to have to not necessarily assume that's going to be how it's going to play out, because they want to sell commercials too, and they spend a lot of money. They spent a lot of money to get the rights for basketball. All right. Chopper, 7-gamer. Your Astros were looking to be the most popular team on the board, locked in for 9, taking on a lefty, JP Sears, in a great ballpark out there in Sacramento. It's going to be in the 80s, so it's probably the best ballpark environment on the slate. If it's not Sacramento, it's Tampa, St. Pete. Those are the 2 best ballpark environments. As far as weather edge, only a couple of games showing because, weather edge doesn't reflect what's going on in St. Pete or in Sacramento just yet. Did I say Sears? I meant to say Spence. Is TJ correcting me? Was I incorrect on something? We're expecting Spence. That is the expectation as far as the pitcher tonight for the Athletics, and he's been much better versus righties. So I'm curious how that's going to reflect ownership stuff. But early in the day, like, Houston's really cheap, 9 innings, bad bullpen, good ballpark. 5.5. They still have a 5.5 team total, which is the biggest total on the board. Ohtani. Oh, Shohei, your guy, Ohtani. He's throwing baseballs tonight for how long? Probably an inning, maybe 2. But still cool to see him back. That'll be fun. It certainly subdues that Padres, stack to some degree, I think, at least for an inning or 2. Yeah, so he's back tonight throwing baseballs. Dylan Cease last time out absolutely dominated this Dodger team. I know some people say they don't like the pitchers facing the same team back to back. Jake Irvin gets to throw baseballs against the Rockies. The Rockies were struck out, 87 times over the weekend, give or take. We saw Spencer Strider, his fastball velocity was up as well. And then Grant Holmes had 16 strikeouts or so. Pretty absurd. Jake Irvin's not a strikeout pitcher, but he's throwing baseballs versus Colorado, so maybe he can get things done. Sandy Alcantara's coming off his best start of the season, probably, taking on a Philadelphia team that's without Bryce Harper. No revenge for JT Realmuto as well. Realmuto is out tonight. I don't see another team total above 5. We have Boston, obviously, without Devers, the return of Logan Gilbert. It's weird how popular Gilbert's going to be, despite the fact he's probably going to be on somewhat of a pitch count. 85 pitches, I think, is our current projection. But this Boston lineup certainly weakened with Devers out. The youth movement's fully on. Do you want to give me a take on that, Chop? Do we like the trade? I have some thoughts, but I'm curious of your thoughts for Devers getting chipped out to San Fran.
Oh, our boy, Juggalo Nation leader KirkDiese is in chat, and he's the big Boston guy. So I don't really probably have some opinions, but I don't want to offend anybody. So
what? You've never been somebody that's afraid to offend anybody.
Nah, it's a tough one. Like I wouldn't if I was a Boston fan, I probably wouldn't be happy with it. I mean, I know some of them are upset and some are gonna say it's okay, the contract money and all that, but I don't. He's a hitter. He's a pure hitter. He's gonna DH, so I don't think the skills regress anytime soon from the hitting standpoint. I think you got rid of a really good hitter. And I don't think you brought back. I don't think you brought back anything substantial, man. That's what
it's basically a dump. Basically a salary dump.
Not even a salary dump, really. Like, you could say salary dump, but the truth is, why did he? Like, if he had a great attitude and he was willing to play first base and all that, would they have traded him? No. So really, it's not a salary dump. It's just because of an attitude problem. Well, that's you got to figure out how to manage an attitude before you get rid of such a good player for practically nothing. But it's not like, I don't know, man. It's weird because Bregman signed late in the offseason, so he got a deal where he can get out of there after this year if he wants to and sign somewhere else. So they might not. It's not like you cleared this big path for Bregman to be your third baseman for the next 4 or 5 years. He could leave after this year if he wants to. I don't know. Tough trade, Dean.
I think if they reallocate the funds, it's not an issue, and that's kind of a question because
I heard that too, Dean.
I don't know if they are, and of course you can go back and say, what do they? They traded away Chris Sale, Mookie Betts, and Rafael Devers, and what do they have to show for it? Like honestly, they have nothing essentially to show for trading away one of the best pitchers of the last 10 years and two of the best hitters the last 10 years, and they have nothing to show for it. I wonder if they kicked the tires on the Yankees. Did they even bother asking the Yankees? Because it felt like one of those things where. Like they wouldn't even think about it. Like it wasn't an amazing deal. They got back a first rounder that might be okay at some point.
You would never trade something, a valuable asset. If you even vaguely thought he was a valuable asset, you wouldn't trade it to the Yankees. Or that goes for anybody. That goes for like the Dodgers and the Giants trying to trade. That would never, like, nothing valuable like that. Not if you thought could possibly be getting the raw end of the deal and giving away a good player, you wouldn't give it away. So no, that would never be the deal. But like Kirkwood's in chat saying they got rid of the contract. I mean, if it was basketball or even football, I would say that that's an issue. But in baseball, there is no salary cap, and it really doesn't matter. It's all, the only salary cap is what your owner is really willing to spend. That's the only cap, so I don't think it's a contract deal. But whatever. Yeah, he's fine. He's a Boston guy. He's entitled to go ahead.
Well, here's the question, Chop. There's 8 years, like 280 left or something like that. If he was a free agent, how many people would sign Devers right now? If they can sign him right now for 8 years, $280 million. How many teams would line up to do that? 4, 3?
Everyone that can afford it, probably like.
Well, how many can afford it? Well, they all. How many are actually going to pay for it?
10 plus.
Again, it's all about the owner and how much they're willing to spend. But
there's a lot of teams that won't, just because they won't. And again, you're going to get some rough deals in the back end. He can't play defense. Well, that's the other part of it. He refused to move to first. He wants to play third, and he's not good enough to play third. He's not going to play third in San Fran because Matt Chapman's a good third baseman. So he's going to have to figure out how to be happy being a DH or playing first. So if they reallocate the funds, I don't think it's the worst thing, but I don't know if they're going to do that. Also, they have a full-on youth movement. There's a lot. They want to play their young guys. It's weird timing because they're hot and they just swept the Yankees. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Just like the Marlins many years ago, they dumped Stanton to the Yankees. They got nothing out of it. They got a bunch of nonsense, but they just got rid of a contract. It's a similar situation, but I think this contract's probably not as bad as Stanton's was, to be fair. All right. Chop, anything else we should say as far as let's dig into the slate. Let's talk about tonight's slate. We have a 7-gamer, so we got plenty of time to knock it out. Of course, we have the knockers on layaway. We have the BBP suggestion as well. Give me the overview. How are you seeing this slate? Because to me, it's kind of a weird one where it's odd to see Logan Gilbert to be super chalky. I kind of get it. He's the best pitcher on this slate, but does he have the ceiling to really put up an electric number? I don't know. Probably not, but he should be really good. Cease was excellent against the Dodgers last time out. He's the next guy up when it comes to strikeouts, 29.9%, basically 30% Ks. But the Dodgers they can hurt you. They can punish you if you're not striking them out. And then Clark Schmidt, I think, looks like an awesome play as well. He's been in good form. I feel like he's got a pretty good shot getting that W. We like picking on the Angels a little bit with righties. He's my favorite SB2. Might even my SB1, depending on. I haven't built anything just yet, and the offense, I think you're probably supposed to not play Houston. I think you're supposed to not play him. You tell me. How are you seeing this slate as an overview before we dive in and talk about some pitchers specifically?
Well, I'd say with the scratches out there in Sacramento of the starting pitchers, this slate got real ugly real fast because it was already pretty ugly at pitcher and struggling, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And now I think both offenses from a stack side of it got worse with those pitcher scratches and the new guys starting that game now. So I think it's really, for a Monday night and having 7 games to choose from, this is an ugly, ugly slate, Dean. So, I think you're going to have to really – I think you could play just about anything you wanted and feel like you had a shot in GPPs.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's a tricky one as well, which is I don't love the Astros if they're still chalky, and I think they're going to be chalky. We'll see how that turns out. And I was in on them earlier when they're facing a lefty. They're going to run out a slew of righties. Mitch Spence has been very good against righties, and the Astros just haven't been very good. They have essentially no lefties of relevance. I mean, Caratini might hit in there or something like that, but there's nothing really to get excited about. So I'm probably going to be out in Houston, but they're also really cheap. Certainly not as my main, like they're not going to be a main stack, maybe a mini or something like that. Pitching wise, I mentioned Gilbert. He threw 72 pitches his last start in the minors. As far as the rehab, I think it was his third start. So generally speaking, they kind of go up by 15 pitches or so, 10 to 15 pitches. So we're expecting about 85 pitches against Boston. We'll see how that works out. Again, no Boston, no Devers for the Red Sox. So certainly their lineup takes a pretty severe hit. Of course, the ballpark shift to Seattle. They barely have a team total of 3.04 if you want to get all tactical, according to our lineups page, which I think that's the lowest number on the board. It is, right? No, even the Marlins have a higher team total. Taking on Mick Abel. But yeah, your thoughts as far as pitching. Are we in on the Gilbert chalk? Do we like Schmidt as an SB2? I think there's other guys you can consider. Pepio certainly has had his moments. I've seen Giolito hitting some stuff. I don't know how great I feel, how much I love that, but certainly in play, you can do it. Jake Irvin is just terrible, but maybe the Rockies are worse. I shouldn't say he's terrible. He's not going to get in strikeouts, and we like strikeouts. He's not good, but yeah, and he's not cheap either. Maybe you can sell me on Sandy Alcantara. I don't think he's the worst idea as a cheapie, but the pitching falls off really quick, so I'm not enthused beyond Gilbert. I shouldn't say he's enthused. I'll play Gilbert. I'll play Schmidt. But it's all kind of not great. You kind of alluded to that as well. You said it's kind of a bad slate, but something's going to win it.
Yeah. Well, you say the pitching falls off real quick. The pitching never gets started. I like Logan Gilbert in general, but what has it been? 2.5, 3 months almost? Let's see, April, maybe 2 months. So, and we don't know what, I would expect something. If he was like in full form right now and we didn't have a pitch count limit and we knew kind of what we could expect.
Lock button.
Lock button tonight in this ballpark against a team that is used to a hitter-friendly ballpark, moving to a pitcher-friendly ballpark with a depleted lineup tonight. It would be a lock button. But we don't know what to expect. He's still going to be my SP1, but there's a lot of things going on there now. Clark Schmidt, he's next in line, but this Angels lineup is not it's not a pushover anymore. It's actually, they have some players in there that could give him a hard time. He's probably the second most talented guy on this particular slate, so he's in the mix. You mentioned Jake Irvin. This is a matchup, brother. Colorado, you're attacking Colorado these days. Every time they're outside of core, even when they're in cores now, but
anywhere.
Yeah, you were right to say it. Jake Irvin is not necessarily a particularly talented pitcher, but you got this matchup that just kind of screams that you can stream him today and play him. Man, he's a low strikeout guy, but then again, like you said, Holmes yesterday went to town with strikeouts on this team, so it can be done even from low strikeout guys. The other guy I would put in this classification of the four up top that I kind of like, or that I see playing, is Ryan Pepio against Baltimore. They've been warmer lately at the dish, so they're not the pushover they once were here a month ago, but he's got a really solid pitcher with pretty decent stuff, and I think he can make some things happen here against Baltimore. So he's in the mix too. Then it gets into guys who are questionable. I think Zach Eflin is I don't like the venue for him, and he's probably, I don't know, I wouldn't even slightly above average as a major league starting pitcher. It's a decent team to face off against, but
it's a revenge game, right? Did he used to play for the Rays?
Eflin. Zeppelin. I know he played for Philly. We were calling him Zeppelin when he was with Philly, but yeah.
Maybe I'm making that up. No, I have to Google.
Maybe he did have a stint with Tampa, but he's in the mix. So Dylan Cease, Yeah, normally I would have said yes on this one, Dylan Cease, except what you mentioned earlier does scare me. I don't like that the LA Dodgers got an extended look at him about a week ago, less than a week ago, and he pitched decent. He pitched well. Final numbers turned out good. He did have issues with his walks. So he has man, a real chance here that they can that they've seen something and now they're going to be a lot more effective tonight. So I worry about that a little bit. I worry about the matchup with Alcantara. I think he's really good. I think he's starting to find his form a little bit. I think he's getting better, but don't like the matchup here.
I mean, there's no Harper in there. Who do you really like on Philadelphia besides Schwarber? Turner is solid, obviously. The rest of it's pretty nonsense.
You say nonsense. I don't know. I mean, maybe. So I mean,
Who
okay, he's in the mix. He's in the mix just because of the slate. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, okay, you're right. You sold me. Maybe he's my SP2. I mean, the SP2 was a total toss up for me tonight. I would even list the opposing starting pitcher if he wasn't 9K, even though he is 9K.
Yeah,
he's in the mix.
Pretty pricey.
There's not many guys that are not in. There's probably about 6 guys, 6 teams that aren't in the mix for me, and it's because 2 of them had their starting pitcher scratched, so I'm sorry they can't touch that game. 1 of them has an opener, can't touch that game. Like, there's not much that's not in the mix tonight for SP2. So I don't know, man. Just put some names in a hat and pull one out, Dean.
Ownership right now, we're showing about 42% on Logan Gilbert on DK, Clark Schmidt at 39%, Irvin at 20%, Pepio 16%, Cease 15%. I know the whole seeing a team for the second time around, but I think Cease is again, 11 strikeouts last time. He got very lucky because he did have 5 walks. It's really hard to get away with 5 walks against the Dodgers, but he did. Only a few hits, I think it was. Gusto coming in at 14%, Giolito at 12%, Eflin at 9%. It's I like Clark Schmidt. I just want to focus on that as far as the splits. The Angels, I know Dave wrote about this today in the article about the Angels being so right-handed heavy. They're similar to the Astros. If you look at the Plate IQ, they only have 2 lefties, Seanwell and the switch hitter Rengifo. So it's 7 righties taking on Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt this season against righties, 26.5% as far as Ks, 6.1% for walks. That's way down from his walk rate versus lefties, which is 14%. Woba 248, which is really, really good. A 66 ISO, which is really good. Just very good. Very good against righties this year. So I'm in on Clark Schmidt. I feel pretty good about him as an SB2, but again, the slate is kind of a mess. They're talking about Soriano in chat against the Yankees. I mean, I guess you see Stanton in there as another potential strikeout candidate, but it's interesting because I don't like picking on Soriano because of all his ground balls. He's just one of the best ground ball pitchers in baseball on this slate. Tonight, he's the best ground ball pitcher by far. He's given up 0.34 homers per 9, which is just pretty silly. So we'll talk about that with the Yankees when we get there, but I'm probably not playing the Yankees, which might be a mistake. I might regret that. Oh, the second clue for Movie Monday is scrolling. That is Chip. I saw some people guessing in the Discord. No winner just yet. It is not Hot Tub Time Machine, which is a great shout out. Old Boy. Oh boy, that's a tough one. Thor. The Natural, Finishing the Game. I don't know what that is. Role Models. I bet Chop likes Role Models. That's a fun one.
What a good movie.
Yeah, with the Stifler, right? I can't think of the Sean Williams.
Absolutely hilarious movie.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it gets lost in the shuffle. People don't talk about Role Models enough, but
maybe Paul Rudd's best performance.
Oh, that's a bold proclamation. Really? Okay.
Maybe his best comedic performance.
Yeah. Okay. I had to sit down and take a look at it, but that is a bold proclamation there. Paul Rudd's very good. That movie in general is a lot of fun. It is not Drive or Tin Cup either, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but more guesses are coming through here on the Discord. I see some guesses in YouTube. Those are not official. They do not officially count. Chop, anything else as far as pitchers we should acknowledge, or shall we move on and talk about some hitters, talk about some stacks? Anything else you want to say when it comes to pitchers today?
I mean, I'm all pictured out, but I did put a guess in our chat. So if you just want to go ahead and shoot that down so I can scratch it off.
It's not Whiplash. List. Also another spectacular movie. It's not Whiplash.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's very good. You have another guest coming though, Chop. You have You have two. You're still doing another guess. I know you're trying to play
Hammer. Are you talking about MC Hammer? Is it you're referring to MC? Turn this mother. I'm spitballing in my brain while I'm trying to do baseball here, man.
I hear you. I mean, you know this. I'm sure. MC Hammer many years ago was a bat boy for the Oakland Athletics when he was like a teenager. You're aware of this, right?
Oh yeah. You think he's was super disappointed that they left Oakland?
Probably, yeah. I feel like I could be. I feel like somebody in the Athletics. That's where he got the nickname Hammer. I think somebody gave him that nickname in the organization when he was a bat boy. But yeah, I think he was a teenager. I guess that's when you are a bat boy. Basically, usually as a teenager, they don't like 50-year-old bat boys. I don't think, or a dog. You ever see the bat boy dog? Those are amazing.
Otherwise, Batman, and that's a whole other type of job.
Well, you better.
You gotta do that.
Watch some of these games these days. They let anybody do that stuff now.
The bat boy stuff, really?
Yeah, crazy.
I'm watching the games.
Sometimes you see like a 80-year-old dude they let in there running bats and stuff.
Well, San Francisco has the bald dudes. I'm sure like the old fellas down the sidelines. I think they still have those. I specifically like they only have seniors as far as down the lines to catch the balls and guard the bullpens. Yeah. You know where the ball dudes?
Probably because Dusty Baker's grandson almost got mauled in the World Series, so they changed the rules. They changed the rules a little bit, man.
But that was his son. That was not his grandson. That was his son.
Oh yeah, his son.
You just thought Dusty was old.
Dusty Baker, he must have had some kids like when he was like 60, man.
I think that kid was playing baseball, like either in the minor leagues. I think he was drafted not too long ago.
Just a few years ago, meaning that Dusty's in his 70s, man. I have to look that up. Let me Google that for you while you get to the next subject.
Is that in today's Houston Astros trivia? How old is Dusty Baker? What's the percent chance right now that there's a toothpick in Dusty Baker's mouth? 30%?
No. We got to be 60 plus.
Like right now, this exact moment, there's a toothpick in his mouth. 60 plus.
That he literally walks around with it all the time.
Like even money, you'd bet yes, toothpick. All right. Do we have an official number? How old is Dusty Baker?
I mean, no, I was looking up his kid. His youngest kid is 26.
Okay. Yeah. Is he still playing baseball somewhere?
No? I don't probably, but let's see. He's 20. So yeah. So Dusty's 76. So yeah, Dusty was pumping him out when he was 50 years old, man. Yeah. Good for him.
We just got Boston, by the way. Duran, Toro. Duran's going to get traded now too? I don't know. Probably. He was also already on the trade block, allegedly. Duran, Toro, Anthony in the third spot. Navarez, Meyer, Story, Hamilton, Rafaela, and Campbell DHing in the 9-hole. Chop, you want to do let's do some tiers, right? We have Crunch Time coming on a little bit early today. Only 7 games, so 14 teams to throw in some tiers. I did this one on my own. I went solo. I asked you how Father's Day was. I asked you how your weekend was. Chop, my weekend, Saturday morning, woke up feeling some pain. And it was a familiar pain. I had it before. Woke up feeling some pain. We had to take a trip to the ER. Kidney stone. Had ourselves a kidney stone. I'm not sure if you're in the market for one. If you're considering it, do not recommend. I would not recommend getting a kidney stone. Not a lot of fun. So I ended up tiering and power ranking stones. That's what we're ranking. We power rank stones. So let me know in chat the best and the worst of these stones. So we had ourselves a kidney stone this weekend, and that was not a lot of fun. Diamond in chat. I considered diamond, but I went literal with actual stone. That kind of stuck with that. I considered diamond because diamond is technically a stone. But Chop, what is the best? And you should know what the best stone is. And I kind of a liberal interpretation of stone. If you know, this year, big year for stones on HBO.
Okay. We got gemstones.
There you go.
Gemstones are up in the mix. I'm going to say on my personal list, I'd list Raphael Stone up high. I like what's going on there.
I don't. Who's that now?
The Rockets GM. I think he's.
Oh, okay.
Raphael Stone.
Very specific.
I'm going to need TJ's help for this one, but at the very bottom, I would list what stone is it, TJ, that you have to kill your most loved?
The soul stone.
The soul stone would be at the nut low of that because that's like the worst, man.
Is that worse than a kidney stone, though?
Dean, a kidney stone, you just pee it out and you're good to go. This for the soul stone, you have to actually kill your the favorite human person you love.
I've never done that. I can just vouch and say kidney stone hurts pretty good. I can't
Sharon,
see the
Chad is saying Sharon Stone. I do. Boy, she had her moment. She had maybe one of the better scenes of the 1980s or 90s, whatever that show was in. But that was one of the better scenes of that entire decade.
One of the most paused movies in moments in movie history, possibly. I would imagine. I don't know. Remember that was the thing. So let's just go ahead and reveal the board with our stones. Lots of participation here in chat. But the Sorcerer's Stone I did not consider, but that was one that was on the board or amongst the options. But Righteous Gemstones, the gemstones. Emma Stone. Emma Stone is delightful. Who doesn't like Emma Stone? Matt Stone from Trey Parker, Matt Stone, the co-writer of Basketball, as well as South Park. Stone Temple Pilots in the 4-hole. They were my favorite grunge band. I don't know if you're a grunge guy back in the day, Chopper, but they got the 4 spot. They had a few moments here and there, but they weren't my favorite amongst the grunge era. And then Kidney Stone. Like I said, Kidney Stone got to be in the bottom tier. That is our stones. Yes, Sly Stone. I had Sly and the Family Stone. I had a lot of others. Stone Gossard, guitarist for Pearl Jam. Oliver Stone. Gavin Stone, pitcher for the Dodgers, didn't make the board. Stone Phillips.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones was a pretty big omission.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent to the Rolling Stones. They're fine. I mean, I would take like Zeppelin over them and a lot of the other, Beatles. Flintstones was a miss. Okay. Where do we put the Flintstones? They're fine. The Flintstones are fine. Steve Stone, the announcer for the White Sox. He sounds so depressed these days. He's been there forever, and it's not good times there. All right, let's throw some teams and some tiers. Let's drop the third clue for the people as well. 1, 2, 3. 1 is Hammer. 2 is Chip. 3 is Circus. Circus is our third clue. Get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. You get yourself football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, WNBA, LOL, MMA. You get access to all the articles, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, Dave Potts' article, the expert rankings, the consensus rankings. People are always projections. Too much stuff to mention. You get it all free for a week. Of course, you can sign up for it as well. If you commit to 6 months, check out the link in the description. You get 35% off. Again, football, baseball, basketball, all the sports, everything with the exception of NASCAR. NASCAR a la carte. NASCAR is its own thing. First game, it is Philadelphia and the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara taking on Mick Abel. We mentioned, of course, no Bryce Harper, no Giancarlo Realmuto. Where do you have the Phillies and the Marlins? 8.5 total. Just a slight favorite here for Philadelphia in Miami.
Where are we at? I'm trying to guess, Dean.
It's not Joker, just so you know.
Okay. I still got another guess coming my way. Philly and Miami. So I've listed Philly in tier 3 here because I'm kind of just on the fence. Alcantara's kind of turning a corner. It's not a great lineup. So I don't want to necessarily stack against them, but I could see, the numbers don't look great in general for him this year. So we'll put him in tier 3. Miami's a tier 4. I believe this young kid's got a little more talent than, that 4.3 implied team total against him might, imply. I think he's a little bit better than that. I'm not a believer in the Miami offense, so they're a tier 4 for me. So not a super exciting game here to get us started.
All right. Did not see either team get moved into the tiers. I'm not sure. Okay, TJ's on top of it now. Let's see. Marlins are going in Stone Temple Pilots. Philadelphia is going in with Matt Stone. Are you a South Park guy, Chop? You like South Park?
No, I did not. I mean, I never really watched it. I can't say I didn't like it. I just didn't watch it.
Okay,
Chop
you just
was,
never.
we're Phillies tier 3 or 4? 4.
That's 4. Colorado taking on the Nats. 8.5 is the total. Carson Palmquist taking on Jake Irvin. The Nats are pretty big favorites here, minus 180. The two best hitters for the Washington are left-handed, so a little bit of a hit with this matchup versus Palmquist. But of course, that bullpen coming out of there is pretty rough. Wood and Abrams, the two lefties, it gets pretty rough behind there. We can't roster Brady House either. I don't think he's in the pool unless I missed it. Did they add Brady House? I see he has 2K. Is he in the pool now? Because he wasn't earlier today. No. Oh, is he on FanDuel? Maybe he's on FanDuel. Debut today for Brady House for Washington. I saw earlier today that he was not in the pool, and I think he's still not in the pool, at least on DK. Somebody let me know in chat if he's in the FanDuel pool. But yeah, where do you have Washington and the putrid Rockies?
Colorado is a consistently tier 4 or tier 5 team for me. So tier 4 today, I give them a tier 4 just because Jake Irvin. I give him a bump up a little bit. So tier 4 in that regard. Washington for me, Dean, is a tier 1. We're struggling tonight. Like if I don't put Washington here, I may not put anybody there. So Washington's going to go in tier 1. It's a good matchup against a bad starting pitcher, a bad bullpen. It's a solid lineup. I don't mind that we're probably going to get a couple of lefty on lefty at bats for our two power hitters in Washington's lineup. I don't mind that too much. So, I think the ownership on this stack in general is a little bit lower because of that, because people see that lefty on lefty. I'm going tier 1 for Washington.
I was curious what the pinch hit risk was with the left-hander starting. I thought we might have some. I checked out what Cardi has in the bats. The cleanup hitter, Chaparro, is 33%, Young at 21%, Adams 16%, House 14% for what it's worth. Where's Lyle? It's just 1%, which is a little bit surprising, but Lyle coming in at really low as far as his percentage according to the bats. All right, let's move along here, Chopper. We have 5 more games to go. The Angels, the Yankees, Clark Schmidt. One of the most popular, probably the default SP2 today, or SP1 if you're not paying up for Gilbert, taking on the Angels and Jose Soriano. 7 Angels are batting from the right-hand side today. Trout is still really cheap on FanDuel, which is worth noting. He's 3-3 on FanDuel. We mentioned earlier, Giancarlo Stanton is back in this lineup for New York. This is his debut. He was dealing with multiple elbows. I think he had 2 elbows as far as his injuries. They tried to say it was because of that torpedo bat, but he kind of brushed that off. But, he's – I don't know how healthy he is. I assume he's healthy enough to swing. Probably a pinch run risk if he gets on base late, something like that. But he's not going to steal a base for you. But I assume he still has that ridiculous power when he finally gets a hold of it. Of course, Soriano keeps the ball on the ground really, really well, about as good as anybody. Where do you have the Angels and the Yankees?
So I didn't hear that, Dean. You're telling me that people said it was the torpedo bats that hurt him?
They tried to say, yeah, he did his best to subdue that, but there was reporters were trying to basically insinuate or trying to get Stanton to admit the reason why he got hurt was because of using a torpedo bat, but he shut it down pretty quickly.
Yeah. Wow, whatever happened? Do they still use him? Because I haven't heard much of that about that since that one series.
Yeah, because the Yankees didn't hit 17 home runs every single series after that.
You're telling me it was maybe just one series against a bad pitching staff.
So Yahoo still has a notation on fantasy. Yahoo Fantasy says there's a notation next to players that still use it, which I thought was kind of funny. I thought that was an outdated thing, but they let you know who has torpedo bats. Volpe's still using one for the record. And I don't think it's made a big difference.
No. Anyways, so I do need to correct something real quick. First, my next guess was wrong. My third guess.
I really like that movie, Nightmare Alley, but the answer is not Nightmare Alley.
Okay. And then the other thing I need to clear up, I misspoke a minute ago. Philly was a tier 3 team for me. So if we can move Philly back to tier 3, I was just doing a lot of different stuff there. It looks better in the end when I see the board laid out. It's going to look better if it's accurate. What are we doing here? LA, New York, LA, Angels, tier 4. No, I don't have really much desire to stack this team against Clark Schmidt. Sure, they're fine, but I don't want them. The only thing that drives me off of New York is that big ground ball rate for Soriano, but he also walks a lot of guys. He also doesn't strike out guys. So New York's a tier 2 for me. I can't put him too low on this smaller slate tonight. And when he does leave, you probably get a shot at a really probably bottom 5 bullpen in the game. So I kind of like New York here, tier 2.
All right, Yankees in tier number 2. We are scrolling the 4th clue. It is grand. However, Chop, this is going to bum you out. We already got a winner. We got a winner in the Discord channel. Shout out to Peterman79. So we do have a winner after 3 clues. We'll just play it out. Play out the string for fun here. The 4th clue is grand. All right. Chop, we're going to move on to the next game. The next game on the slate is Baltimore and Tampa. 9 total in St. Pete. Good environment for hitting baseballs. Ryan Pepio and Zach Eflin. This looks like one of the more appealing games on the board. I don't necessarily love picking on these pitchers, but just as far as like game environment, I like it. Again, mid-80s as far as the temp. That's what I'm seeing right now. Where do you want Baltimore and the Rays?
I've got the same basic thoughts on both these teams, which is these starting pitchers are actually pretty decent, at least in comparison to the others going today. So I don't love this stuff. It is a good hitting environment, but I'm putting both these teams in tier 3. They just, because of the hitting environment, I'll keep them in consideration. But on this slate right here with all these other pitchers going, just the way it looks in general, I just don't want to pick on either one of these guys. So, put them in tier 3.
All right. Tier 3 has 3 teams: Philadelphia, Baltimore, the Rays. Tier 4 with the STP. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you in a second why. STP was originally a tier 3, and I had to shuffle some things around. So they're catching some shrapnel unfairly, probably. But what I originally had in 4 was kind of linked to today's movie. We already got the answer to the movie, but I thought it was a little bit of a giveaway. But in any event, we'll talk about that soon. Next game up here on the board is Boston and it's Seattle. Giolito taking on Gilbert. Logan Gilbert back from the IL. I should say he's rehabbed to several starts as well. Last time out, 72 pitches, I believe. We're expecting somewhere in the 80s when it comes to pitches. Again, this Boston team, if you missed something, if you're just tuning in now, there's no Devers. Devers shipped out to San Fran, so this lineup takes a pretty significant hit. Also, the shift from Boston to Seattle is quite massive as well. Seattle almost a 4-team total. Boston just barely over 3. Where do you have the Red Sox and the Mariners?
Yeah, so the only question on Logan Gilbert is how many pitches can he go? Not necessarily how effective he's going to be. He's probably going to be just as effective as he always been. Like the arm strength. If he didn't have the arm strength, he wouldn't be in there tonight. So it's just about the timing. How long can he go? And if even if he can't go 5 full innings, if you're in this game and you've got a slight lead, you're going to get the good part of that bullpen. So Boston just a tier 5 for me. I just don't like them tonight at all. For all the reasons we've mentioned, the ballpark switch and everything. So
what's the locker room like right now? Is it in shambles? Do they care? Maybe they're happy to be rid of him. Maybe he's got a locker room like Moat.
Maybe they're happy. But I don't know. As far as like right away like this, because you're already missing Bregman too. So
yeah.
It was already a weekend lineup. You just did remove, I don't know, call me crazy, but I think he's their best overall hitter. So you just took that out of the lineup. You could have all the morale in the world. It's going to be hard to replace that right away. Maybe they do at some point, but they're a tier 5. They're a tier 5. It's a massive pitcher's ballpark and everything. Seattle though, that's a tier 2 for me.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm not like Giolito. Yeah. He's not striking anybody out anymore, and he's giving up plenty of power to right-handed hitters. And Seattle's got a couple guys in this lineup that can do some damage. So I think even in this, like if this was in Boston, this would be a tier 1, but it's not. I got to take the park into consideration, so I'm going to bump them down to tier 2. But I like the matchup in general. As
always, and I think everybody else does, if you can just find the salary, I love the idea of playing Kyle Rowley, like in single entry stuff. He can just be a true separator in tournaments. 365 ISO this season versus righties, 414 WOBA. Just been awesome.
Yeah, sneaky home run call of the
day. Don't tell anybody. It's on the DL. Fifth clue. We'll knock out the fifth clue here. About 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes. You have crunch time coming in. The return of Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, Kirkwood. Kirkwood fired up in the chat. He'll be joining the show in about 15 minutes or so. Fifth clue today for Movie Monday. It is Stone. Stone happens to be the fifth clue. It all comes full circle. Hammer, chip, circus, grand, and Stone. The Astros taking on the Athletics, 10.5 total. Is that still a 10.5 total? I guess it is, right? Yeah. Mick Spence throwing baseballs against Ryan Gusto. We did get an Athletics lineup. It's Butler, Wilson, Soderstrom, Rooker, Kurtz, Muncy, Blade, McIver, and Schumann. Taking on the Astros, you're going to get a pile of righties here because that's all they have for Houston, but no lineup just yet. Almost a 5 total for the Athletics, and still Houston holding strong with a 5.5 team total taking on Spence, and a pretty rough bullpen there for the Athletics. I did just want to note, I was looking at Spence's splits this year. This is why I was thinking about possibly getting away from some Houston stuff. The sample's not huge. Well, it's 125 as far as at bats, but a 64 ISO and a 233 WOBA. Not really walking anybody, 7%. It's not a 0, but it's not a really alarming number. 20% as far as Ks. It's not great, but he's just been good. He's been pretty good there against righties. I'm not saying you can't play him, but if they're going to be really, really popular, I get the ballpark's great too, and you're only going to get maybe 5 or 6 innings out of him. Curious what your thoughts are as far as Houston and the Athletics, and have they changed throughout the day? The swap of Sears to Spence.
Yeah, for sure. But surprisingly enough, the team total is still holding pretty strong for Houston. It didn't dip that much. So I don't know. I think there's something still there for them, but it's just not as appealing as it was. I don't think it's as appealing for both sides. I thought beforehand, we could see some home runs off of McCullers. Like we could definitely see some stuff off of McCullers, and then they got rid of him, and then all of a sudden, and then they got rid of the lefty. I was loving the right-handed lineup going against the lefty tonight. So yeah, it does change things a lot. But with that being said, Dean, I still like both these offenses, especially when we relative to what the other offenses we can choose from. So I'm putting both of these teams in tier 2. They're both way up there for me. I still think there's a chance for Oakland to do some damage against Gusto, so that's fine. And I would have rather faced off against a left-hander, but I think there's still something there for Houston. This is a good park upgrade for them, so I'm going tier 2 for them. And they've, believe it or not, Dean, they're 11 games over 500. They're playing pretty good baseball, man. They're starting to find a little bit of offense, and they're doing it like totally without, Jordan and a bunch of other players. So once they start to get healthier, they'll really be a threat.
They got to trade for some lefty, right? Or even just like a Josh Bell or something.
I'm totally surprised, by the way.
Too bad Rafael Devers isn't available.
They would never, in a million years, Boston would have never traded. That's like they trade them to the Yankees. They're not going to do that if they think that there's a possibility that could come back and bite them.
So is this like a Luka thing? Where do you think you're suggesting they only talk to Sam Fran? They had to kick the tires on other teams.
No, I thought I heard that this was kind of an under the radar trade. And yeah, I could see them just shipping him out to the National League West, just so far away that like literally the opposite end of the country. So but no, I was surprised, Dean. Over the weekend, Tampa actually traded for Forrest Whitley, who the Astros had DFA.
Uber prospect at one point.
Yeah, so maybe they could switch him, but I'm actually surprised that there wasn't some sort of a bigger deal there that got Brandon Lau to Houston. They really need that left-handed second base bat. That would have been perfect, but maybe there is something. But I'm with you. They got at some point they trade for a left-hander, either a corner.
How old is Whitley? Is it not over for Whitley? How old is he? Still really young? I thought he was 25 at this point.
I don't know. It's probably over for him, but
yeah.
I mean, they've needed bullpen help this year, and he still couldn't do it. So he's 27. Can't find the strikeout. I mean, maybe Tampa tweaks a couple things and gets him into being a big time reliever for a couple of years, but I don't know. He just couldn't pull his weight with Houston anymore.
Jamino flying in, by the way, saying he's not a fan of Matt Stone. I mean, I guess Jamino also not a fan of South Park or basketball, besmirching our board, which is fine. I do appreciate the thoughts. I saw your guy Butthole was besmirching Emma Stone. How dare Butthole? She's an American treasure, is she not? But he's not a fan of Emma Stone. But hey, that's why you make the board one day. We'll have somebody else make the board, and we'll pick their board apart. We have to have honorary chat members make a board one of these days. Cease taking on the Dodgers, 9 total. The Dodgers almost about 5-team total taking on Dylan Cease. We did mention last time out, Cease was awesome versus this Dodger team, at least from a strikeout perspective. He did walk 5 guys. He got away with it. He still put up a big number, I think 37 on DK. The return of Shohei Ohtani on the mound. He's going to throw an inning or 2. Don't get excited. Do not get roped in. Do not play him. I didn't even look. Did the site screw this up? Like, can you roster pitcher Shohei Ohtani if you wanted to? I'm guessing you can't. I don't know why you would, but yeah, because it take him. It's like his 7th year now he's doing this, and the site's never really quite figured out how to make him 2 different people. But in any event, we're not going to play Ohtani even if we could. And then Kasperi is expected to come in afterwards, taking on the Padres. Where do you want to throw San Diego and the Dodgers?
So first off, I hate this for San Diego. I hate the opener, man. I hate, for trying to stack a team, and they've got an opener, and then you've got these other guys to worry about. It's always a tough scenario for that team that you want to stack. So San Diego's a tier 4. Like, maybe they can get there, but I don't see it. But in the survey, my bold call was that they do hit a couple of homers in the first inning. Maybe Shohei's like really rusty, so you never know. But they're a tier 4 for me. LA, this is the interesting one. I don't think in general they gather a ton of ownership, and then people just saw what Dylan Cease did to him a week ago, and maybe he even gets a little bit more ownership than he should. So maybe you could leverage that a little bit. So LA, even though I hate, I would never pick on Dylan Cease and a pretty good bullpen, but I'll put LA in tier 3 just because, maybe you could leverage that a little bit. It's a terrible spot in general, but maybe you can do some damage with that. I think there is something to see in a pitcher like just a few days later after you just saw him for 100 and something pitches or whatever. So, yeah.
Let me recap the board. We're going to give the people some of the knockers. We're going to give the people the BEP suggestion of the day. Again, if you're just joining us, power ranked as far as the tiers. Stones. The number 1 tier is the Righteous Gemstones. Washington is all by themselves today. Is that what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Washington all by themselves. Emma Stone has the Yankees, Seattle, Houston, and the Athletics. South Park's Matt Stone has Philadelphia, Baltimore, and the Rays. The Dodgers just jumped to the 2nd tier. I saw that they were not on the board. What's 3, Chop? What is that? What are you doing?
The Dodgers were in tier 3. It makes the board nice and symmetrical.
I saw you really wanted to make that happen. Okay, yeah. Put the Dodgers in tier number 3. It's not because of the third tier team. It's because just the board looks nicer. Tier 4, STP was originally a tier 3, and I had Sharon Stone in tier 4. But I thought that was giving way too much away for today's movie. So I kicked out Sharon Stone. I put an SDP, and, they shouldn't have been a tier 4. But whatever. My apologies to Scott Weiland and Stone Tool Pilots. That is the Marlins, the Rockies, the Angels, and the Padres. And hanging out with the Kidney Stone, it is whatever is left of the Boston Red Sox. Today's trivia, by the way, was Movie Monday. Clue number 1 was Hammer. There's a very famous scene. I'm sure you've seen this movie. Chop, you know the answer, right? Have you seen the answer or not just yet?
I have not seen the answer. I did guess one in chat, but I probably ain't got it, Dean.
It's not the Grand Budapest Hotel. There's a very, very famous scene with a hammer. Somebody is cheating, and they get hit with a hammer several times on their good hand.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got it now. Okay. See, man, sometimes your clues are just.
What's clue number 1? What do you want for clue number 1?
Okay. Well, your clue number 1s lately have been like boom, like straight to the point. That's what threw me off. Okay.
I'm zigging when you think I'm zagging.
I got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clue 2 is chip. You get chips, in this particular establishment. Circus is a reference to a hotel. Circus Circus, as is clue number 4, Grand, MGM Grand. Both the Circus Circus and the MGM Grand are casinos. And, of course, Sharon Stone co-starred in Casino. And that was clue number 5 was Stone. By the way, Sharon Stone, like 2 movies. She's made 2 movies. The rest of them, I was looking at her. It's not great. It falls off really, really quickly. Of course, Basic Instinct. She made Basic Instinct 2. Casino was amazing, spectacular movie. But like the last 20 years, it's rough. I'm not sure if you've seen what she has going on the last 20 years or so, but it's not. The IMDb was not impressive. But Chop, the people want knockers. They want the BVP suggestion of the day, so give it to them.
BVP suggestion of the day, not a lot to choose from, Dean. So, take this with a grain of salt. It's just a suggestion, but my algorithm keeps on spitting out Randy Arozarena today. And I ran it a few times and kept on doubling up. And then, Arozarena. Let's get him in there against Giolito. So Arozarena is the BVP suggestion of the day. Now, everybody wants the knockers, right, Dean? So let me ask you this, Dean. And it's kind of like a hyperbole because I know the answer. Who doesn't like some good juicy melons, right? Everybody loves some good melons, Dean. The juicier, the better.
Like a watermelon you're talking about?
Yeah, well, in this case, a cantaloupe.
Sure.
Sacramento is known for their juicy cantaloupes. So I'm going out to Sacramento tonight.
That's not true, is it?
Yes, they got a great agriculture scene down there in Sacramento. Lots of juicy melons, watermelons, and cantaloupes. I'll choose cantaloupes on those. I'm going Lawrence Butler, Tyler Soderstrom, knockers of the day.
Let's see. While the Sacramento area is certainly involved in melon production, it's not the primary or most widely recognized area for melon farming in California. Not too well, actually, but I don't want to kill the bit. But
it doesn't have to be like the most like the best city in California. It has good melons out there, Dean. It has good melons.
I'm just here to see what that's the AI answer. So I don't know if that's actually true. TJ, what do you got?
Here in California, farmers will begin harvesting cantaloupes in southern desert areas as early as April to July, blah, 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 blah. These miles of farmland stretch from San Joaquin Valley, did I say that right? To Bakersfield, and that spans from Bakersfield to Colorado, to Sacramento. So it is part of cantaloupe farming.
Egg on my face, for sure. By the way, I did notice the BEP stuff, Chop. I know this is your turf. The Rockies just called up Taglia. Did they call him up? They're a savvy organization, Colorado. They're on top of things. They have their analytics. They called him up just today. He's 2 for 6 in his career against Jake Irvin with 2 homers. You think they knew that? Is that the reason why they called him up? Because they're desperate for a win.
I feel like you might be like doing some kind of trolling here on the BVP stuff.
I'm thinking the Rockies are a very clever organization, and that's the reason why they said we need Taglia up here. Stat. We're seeing Jake Irvin tomorrow. Let's get him a ticket immedially. I don't care what he's batting in the minor leagues.
It would be sharp of some organizations to do that, but I don't think that's their intention.
Yeah. All right. I know we have crunch time coming in here shortly. We're going to get Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, as well as Kirkwood, KirkDiese, and the big comeback of Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. And amazingly, once again, Kirkwood was hanging out in chat, just lurking in chat, commenting. We appreciate the comments. Somehow unable to get in the waiting room to actually join the show as he's watching the show. Why not? I don't understand. Does that confuse you, Chop? That doesn't make any sense to me. Is he not aware that he can jump on the show at any point?
Maybe, respectfully to his side here, maybe he's just so enthralled with our show, Dean, he just forgets that he's actually up next. Maybe he's intently looking for them juicy melons for knockers.
Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But we do have Crunch Time joining us here in just a second, but we can segue to Crunch Time and Kirk will jump on there. I imagine he's going to come in here any second now. We got Dave Potts. We have Kevin Roth. We have Kirkwood, KirkDiese, I hope. Crunch Time right now. All right. There we go. Kirkwood, let's
Still,
go.
I was here at 5:59 when I'm supposed to be here at 6, so I was technically early.
No, 5:55. You're supposed to be here
I'm
5:55.
listening to you. I'm listening to you say I'm not there. Meanwhile, I'm right there. So like you obviously can't look and see who's there.
I mean, you're digging a hole the more you speak because TJ will tell you he asked you to come on at
started your
5:55.
rant, Dean, he was already in the room. So for the whole rant, he was here. He popped in like a second after I said not ready yet, and then you popped, and then you started ranting, and he was here for the whole time.
I was trying to kill some time. I was trying to fill time until we get Kirkwood to pop on. So, welcome to the show, Kirkwood, Dave Potts. Roth, how was vacation? Nice to see you. We missed you.
Thank you. Good to be back. I hope it all went all right without me. I assume it did. Didn't seem like there were any major issues, right?
Friday, we missed you big time.
Oh yeah,
we could have used you, but it's fine. You deserve a vacation.
I would be disappointed if I left for a week and you were at no point. Like, well, it would have been nice to have you. It was fun, bachelor party, 40th birthday, a lot of melons.
You were in Sacramento?
No, I was in Florida, but we import from Sacramento. So delicious, good times.
All right, Chop. Anything else before we step aside and get out of here? Make way for crunch time. You all got 40 minutes. Early lock, 6:40 on the East Coast. You got anything, Chopper?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, that was Chop. I was Dean. Do not go anywhere. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. You got 40 minutes of crunch time. It starts right now. Roth, take it away.
It does indeed. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. Good to be back. I missed it a little bit. I miss seeing these faces every single day. Dave Potts, Cheese is good. What up, Cheese? How are you, man?
I am fantastic. I had a shorter vacation than you, but I did go see the Gin Blossoms on Saturday, so that was a glorious time in every possible way.
I can't off the top of my head think of their big song that everyone knows.
Hey, jealousy.
That's it. Thank you.
Kirk's all over it.
Yeah, it's a good man. It's good. I assume you you enjoyed it and you like them for more than just that.
I love them. Yeah, I think they're super underrated. Like they have some just straight up like pop rock songs that if you want to be critical of them and say they're cheesy, you can, but they're also really got some actually really great songs and I love them.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. I got Kirkwood in the house as well. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. That's pretty funny that Dave says that about Gin Blossoms. I have a friend who's a guitarist in a local band here in Boston, and it's like his favorite band. So crazy.
People who they're your favorite musician's favorite musician.
Favorite musician. There it is.
That's the key to the Gin Blossoms. We didn't know. TT Forever says they've got some fantastic songs. Their first record is brilliant. All right. We're in agreement. The Gin Blossoms maybe only have one major smash song, but they're legit. They're good. We're going to talk weather real quick. There's not a whole lot to talk about. Thankfully, a few sprinkles and showers in New York, a few sprinkles and showers maybe in Washington. Neither of them are going to be a problem. There's a low chance of a pop-up in Tampa Bay, but low, I'm talking 5-10%. So do whatever you were going to do there. And then I like the hitting weather in both of the West Coast games. It's a little bit better in Oakland or Sacramento, rather, but both those games look pretty good. And that's it. That's all I got. Cheese, does that work for you?
Yeah. So essentially,
nothing.
Play what you play. Yeah.
I just didn't want to come here and just be like nothing. So
remember how much you don't need me? This is how much.
Had to give a little sprinkle of something, but really, I think do what you're going to do, play what you're going to play. I don't expect we're going to see any issues. And with that, Dean has a question. Was Blues Traveler at the concert? I saw a performance that he did with Gin Blossoms. It was awesome.
Yeah, so someone else mentioned that. So they're touring. This concert was just them. They are touring this summer, though, with Blues Traveler and Spin Doctors for full-on 90s awesomeness. So they'll be back in Atlanta in August, I think. So I might see them again. Boy, talk about coming out of nowhere and disappearing fast. Remember the Spin Doctors?
Yeah.
They were everything for like a
Traveler.
year.
Do you? Just go ahead. Is that them?
1, 2.
Princess, just go ahead.
Go ahead. What I said now. Princess who adore you. Just go ahead now.
So that was my senior year of high school, and the girl I had a crush on loved the Spin Doctors, so I learned every song. I can still play every song off that record.
Nice.
It never it never did any good, but I did learn all the songs.
But you could do it, and that's what matters. All right. Joe says, please clip this. Please don't. Do us a favor. Please don't. Let's dive into the slate. Now that we've gotten all the singing out, we missed Roth. We missed Roth. Oh, he lost billions.
Yeah, combined for sure that happened.
Yeah. My bad. I try not to leave during baseball season, so I don't do it often. I probably won't do it again this season. Let's go ahead. We'll dive into this content here because we do have an earlier lock, and we should talk about what we're doing. Cheese, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, let me. And I mean this in every way. And the overview is the same as it was this morning. I don't have a clue. This is
in a good way.
And no, in a terrible way. Like,
great.
I don't like any pitchers or really any offenses. Kind of sort of like all the offenses. I don't have a strong take anywhere on the whole slate on any side of anything. So I'll say some names because that's what we're supposed to do. But like, you guys know, I'm always going to tell you like the honest truth. And the honest truth is I have no idea. I'm just throwing stuff against the wall and it's all very random. So I'm actually playing far less today than usual because I know I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Well, let's jump into the guesses, I guess. We'll start with pitcher, where I think the one guess is we're not playing Ohtani, right?
Right. He's not really pitching. I mean, he'll throw it.
Which is very disappointing. When I saw he was pitching, I was like, I fanboyed out, and then I did.
Hopefully by the end of the year, he's actually a starter, and then we can do the thing.
Yeah.
So part of why it's so tricky, like the only ace, well, you could call Dylan Cease an ace, but he's facing the Dodgers in LA. The only ace other than him is Logan Gilbert, but he's coming off the IL. We have no idea how long he'll pitch or if he'll be good. So I don't know. He's the most expensive pitcher on both sides. I would say he's the best. Like, he's the guy who it would be stunning if he had a disaster. Whereas every other pitcher on this slate, I can make a case why they could put up a negative. With him, he should be fine. He's not going to have a ceiling game. I would guess he gets like 80 pitches, but he's the best pitcher. And you don't really need salary because, like I said, I don't really love any of the bats. So I don't feel like I have to just have Judge and Ohtani. And so I am playing Gilbert, but I don't know. He's fine.
Yeah.
My highest owned pitcher is Clark Schmidt. He's pretty good against righties. The Angels are a bunch of righties. He's got risk. The Angels have power. He can get wild every once in a while, but I do think Schmidt is probably the best for the salary, especially on DK. And then, goodness gracious, Kevin, after that, like, do you want to do the pitching after that? It's all fine. Like, none of these guys are horrible. So
like
I think that
Cease is a dude we've played before, right?
It's my guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I think we need to talk about Jake Irvin, though, because he's the guy who's facing the Rockies. And that's just the thing. Whoever's facing the Rockies, that's who you play.
Sure.
I am not playing Jake Irvin.
Wow.
For one, he's 8,100 on DK. The 8,000 on FanDuel is a fine price. And it really is a fine price on DK because salary doesn't particularly matter. But you still need to be a strikeout pitcher to get a bunch of strikeouts, even against the Rockies. I just don't like it. He should be fine, but I'm not playing him. And I would tell you, I like all the guys under him just as much. And that's where I would rather just play Cease. Better pitcher, much tougher matchup, but just play the guy who's actually good. And then it's like this weird clump of Sandy Alcantara, Zach Eflin, Ryan Pepio, Lucas Giolito. My favorite of those, very much air quoted, is Zach Eflin, because I know for sure he's going to throw strikes. Like, he won't completely beat himself, whereas all the other guys just might. I don't think Pepio will either, but I prefer Eflin's matchup, even though I don't love either of them. And then I am throwing some nonsense Carson Palmquist. Sadly, we don't really actually need the salary. So you're not getting the same sort of edge you normally get for a terrible pitcher. But I'm not convinced that he's a terrible pitcher. Like, he should theoretically be at least something like an average strikeout pitcher. So I've got a little bit of Palmquist. Because I'm playing a little bit of everyone because I don't know.
You didn't mention Kasparius, which somebody said Palmquist Kasparius combo, which just sounds like a bad
Made up.
food.
Two
But I
made-up
assume
names.
that's the guy coming in after Ohtani. Is that the general thought?
That is correct. But he's not really a starter either.
Yeah.
He's topped out at 4 innings this season. I mean, maybe he gets 5 innings if he's magical. I would definitely have 0 of him for sure.
Yeah.
He might get the win very easily.
Sure. So that's 4 points.
Yeah.
4 points minus the 12, so minus 8. It's not bad.
Yeah. It's on this slate might work.
Here's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Jake Irvin and Carson Palmquist have lower swinging strike rates than Dean Shavelson.
Oh, I don't understand how. I don't.
The point there is Dean is tough to get it.
Yeah.
Make contact when he's throwing, like the ball's just all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't really hit it.
Well, Showboat King said, look, if Cheese can't win, we're all doomed. And that may very well be true.
Well, except to be clear, somebody has to win.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what they're doing. The people who tell you they know what they're doing are lying to you. So someone has to win with guessing. It may as well be you.
Yeah. I love saying that about weather, by the way, when I truly don't know. And I'm just like, anyone who tells you they know what's going to happen, they're just lying. This is, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there in the industry telling you for sure they know what's going to happen, and they are lying to you. Yeah. Let's go to a guy who definitely knows what's going to happen. It's KirkDiese. He knows the jug bombs. He knows the pitchers. What's up, man?
So it's not lying if you believe it yourself.
That's true.
Right?
George Costanza. Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah, it's confidence. What are you feeling here? Do you at least have, an edge that you're like, this is what I'm doing at the very least?
Yeah, I'm playing Dylan Cease. I think he's going to be under-owned for what he is an ace. He's on the slate. He's an ace. He just mowed down the same lineup in his last start. Now that could be a negative because sees him twice, but I've been saying this about this guy all year and pretty much every year that it's not Dylan Cease is an ace, and when things go bad, it's not about matchup with him. It's about mechanics and mental. So he something mental will mess up his mechanics. He'll start having no command, and he'll get hit. So if he's on, it really doesn't matter what lineup he's facing. He's capable of mowing them all down. And so on a night when, yes, he's going to get ownership, but I think he should get a lot more ownership than what he's going to get. So that's who I'm playing. Gilbert, I'm kind of out on. He's by far the best pitcher here from a strikeout standpoint, and maybe he gets 80 pitches and he looks great right off the bat, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It's a good matchup, obviously, against the Red Sox right here, but I kind of want to build a Red Sox stack and try to ship everything just so I can silence all the Devers stuff that are constantly flooding me. People are flooding me with now. It's a crazy trade. I have thoughts on that, but it's crunch time. We don't have time for that. Anyways, other than that, Clark Schmidt, obviously he's the chalky guy, but like Dave said, he has a 10.6% walk rate. Things can get dicey with him too. He's no ace by any means. Somebody that might get lost in the shuffle is Mick Abel for Philly. Projects to be a much better strikeout pitcher than he's been so far. This could be the type of slate where paying too high an overprice for him for sure. But it's just if you grade it on a curve with what other options we got, he could end up being pretty effective, I think. So he's interesting to me. Never mind. I get Soriano. I could get behind, but again, he's facing the Yankees, so there's just a lot. There's just not a lot here.
And that's that.
And that's the bottom line.
Pretty exciting. Aren't you glad you came back for this?
Yeah. Woo! This is riveting stuff, guys. Is tomorrow a bigger slate, right? Don't we get a lot of games?
Yeah. Oh, it'll be different. Yeah.
All right. That'll be fun. Okay. Well, let's talk about the bats and the stacks. Kirkwood, you said you might just do a Red Sox stack, but I assume that is not the chalk by any stretch of the imagination. So what do we do?
No, they're not doing that.
Well, there's probably no chalk, just based on what I'm hearing.
Well, there was going to be massive chalk, and I still think it's probably going to be pretty chalky. I don't think people are going to adjust. The Astros were coming in today as massive chalk, and we need to let it out that Dave hates this team. So we got to put it all out there.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
And but they were going to be facing a lefty, which we thought JP Sears, who has bad numbers against righties, and so I thought they were deservedly chalk. But now that's not the plan. It looks like it's Mitch Spence. Now he could be someone interesting from a pitching standpoint, but he hasn't fully stretched out either. He may go like 70, 80 pitches max too. So it's like it's tough every idea. The thing about with him, he's a righty and he's very good against right-handed bats, and that's all that the Astros have. So the Astros should, with this with facing Spence, go down the tiers like way below. So I had them as like my top stack going in. They're probably like my fifth stack now, I would think. So maybe the ownership stays high on them. They're still getting spit out in optimizers everywhere. It's still a good hitter's ballpark. Spence is by no means like a great pitcher or anything like that. So it could still happen, but for me, the edge is fading Houston and playing Cease. But other than that, there's plenty of other ways. I like the A's are my favorite now. They've moved up without McCullers, with Gusto, just because he struggles with lefty power so much, and they have like that little tandem of lefty power to throw at you with Soderstrom, with Lance Butler, Rooker. You can play against anyone always. Kurtz, who I really like for first base, and he's cheap, has good numbers. So the A's are my favorite stack.
Okay. Cheese, I'm going to let you take a crack at this here. Is it kind of wishy-washy? We're like, it's all fine. It's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing unplayable. And I totally agree. Like Houston was definitely the chalk. Now I would say they're probably still the highest owned team because they're also cheap, and they're still playing in West Sacramento. Miss Spence is not great. They still got the bullpen, so sure. I was going to play a little bit of them despite my best plans. Against Sears. I have maybe one lineup with like a Diaz, Walker, Pena. That's about it. I would still say realistically for the salary, they're probably the best stack. But you just don't really need the salary. That's the whole thing here. So I'm also on the A's side now. If you're just going with two cheap pitchers, I would play the Yankees as the top team. The Nationals are interesting, though. It's a bunch of like, who are these people, and are they going to get pinch hit for when Palmquist comes out? So they're just kind of okay. I've got a little bit of Seattle, and honestly, my air quotes favorite team is your Colorado Rockies.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, is it nice? So there you go.
This seems not great, but I suppose based on what I'm hearing, I certainly understand it. You want to make a case for them, or you don't have to? The case is Jake Irvin is pitching, and their bullpen is bad. And still, we say this a lot. Like Colorado strikes out, but when they don't, they do have a lot of power. Yeah,
Beck, Goodman, McMahon, Doyle, Moniak, Toglia all have power. And it's not that hard to hit for power of Jake Irvin.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's go around the horn. We've got 22 minutes until lock. Should be plenty of time on a smaller slate. But start us on off. Cheese, what are we doing at catcher?
So we do have Cal Raleigh on the slate.
Yep.
Of course, he's $6,000 as he should be. Now, this is where I'm pretty sure we do have Astros chalk, regardless of the matchup with Yainer Diaz, and I do like him. He's my favorite Astros bat. So if I can't afford Raleigh, he's my next guy in. Augustin Ramirez and Hunter Goodman then interest me a fair amount, along with Austin Wells, sort of mid-tierish stuff. If you need to go cheaper than Diaz, I assume Caratini will be in the lineup as well, or you can do Riley Adams for $2,300. But it's really not that hard to get up to at least Diaz or higher.
Sure. Okay. Kirkwood, catcher.
Yeah, I like Caratini tonight. Just being the lefty. And I also agree with everyone he said. It's Augustin Ramirez, batting cleanup, has a bunch of power. Rushman, Hunter Goodman. And if you can afford, obviously, the big dumper, then go for it. He's like one of the tougher bats to get to tonight. $6K. It's crazy. $6K. but he's earned it. And I like the Austin Wells call. I've been saying that about Austin Wells. Like when he's down in the order, no one ever plays him, and he like still has the same chance to hit a homer. So I like him down at 4,200. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay, very good. How about first base?
First, my guy is Nick Kurtz for cheap. The power's coming with this kid. It's good park, good weather, like you said, in Sacramento, and a good matchup against Gusto. So I like him. I like Soderstrom as well. So those two guys, or you can play Soderstrom in the outfield, which is what I'm doing. Ohtani, obviously, you can play him any slate. Christian Walker, sure. You usually like him against a lefty, but this season he's just been bad against both. So, but he's starting to come into his own. He's starting to heat up a little bit. The Astros offense as a whole is starting to get a little bit better. So I could see that. I'm fading him though. And then Freddie Freeman's in play. I'm just sold on Kurtz, so that's he's like in every lineup of mine.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your thoughts at first.
Yeah, I like Soderstrom and Kurtz. I kind of feel the same. Like Christian Walker, he's probably still the chalk just because he's cheap, and he's the Astros bat that I still think theoretically is good, but only theoretically, which is different than reality. So he's fine, but I do prefer the A's guys. And then I think Ben Rice is probably my favorite in the mid tier, with the cheap Michael Toglia. But you don't really need him so much now that you have Kurtz against against Gusto. So that's really kind of it. Like, of course, you should always play a little Ohtani and maybe even Freddie Freeman, even against a good pitcher, just in case. But this is really not the slate to spend up on them.
Yeah. All right. By the way, Gilbert officially expected throw around 80 pitches, which apparently, according to the wonderful producer, TJ, is also as projected. So nailed it. Good job. Second base. Cheese, what are we doing there?
It's actually about as good as any other infield position today. I really like Brandon Lau and Jazz Chisholm. Jackson Holiday is fine. Another cheap Astro is fine with Altuve, although I prefer all those other guys I just mentioned. Even like Bryson Stott is fine. Xavier Edwards is fine. It's really a pretty deep position comparatively. Jorge Polanco is fine. But I would say most of my lineups have Lau or Jazz.
I'm reading this quote. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with the Spence Sears thing. Spence will open Monday's game against the Astros ahead of JP Sears. Sears will get a break from facing the top of Houston's lineup, with righty Mitch Spence taking the ball to open the contest. I don't know if this is new information, but that sounds to me like he's only going an inning or two. That's not
that is new information? I would love to know the source.
I don't think it's correct.
I think this is NBC speculating. I don't see any reports on which this would be based, but it's an NBC report, but it's not like this is what's going to happen per the team. This is what a reporter saying, this is what I think will happen.
So it could be
sorry. So I think this is wrong.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but Mitch Spence is a guy that they've been building up to be a starter now, and he pitched really well in his last start against the Angels, where he went 75 pitches, and that was less than a week ago. So it would be really weird for them to all of a sudden just make him the opener when they've been building him up. Yeah. And so I don't know. I think it does sound like speculation, but you never know.
Yeah, it could be a kid, who doesn't know what he's talking about, who's doing this, or it could just be like AI, or I don't know.
We've all done it.
It was a really weird situation today as well, where like they didn't actually report a change. It was just people speculating throughout the day. And so they could potentially be a situation where maybe they do like 4 innings. But like,
well, the other thing I want to say, so JT Ginn is coming off the IL. So they do have 6 starters now. So if they want JT Ginn to be one of their guys and they don't want probably Spence to be one of their guys, then sure, they could piggyback this. I think the bottom line is I don't think it matters at all.
Yeah.
Like it maybe ever so teeny tiny slightly changes a preference if you know they're seeing Sears, maybe. But I wouldn't really change any plans about this either way. Like the Astros are still pretty cheap and they're facing the A's, and neither guy is great. And they're going to get some bullpen, whether that bullpen means it's a little more Sears or just straight bullpen, which would still be a couple lefties. So I don't know, but if that's what's happening, it would probably be because JT Ginn is moving in place of one of them long term.
Okay. Well, a whole lot to do about probably nothing.
Yes.
I don't even recall where we were. Kirkwood, I think you just finished maybe second.
I said second base. I don't know if Kirk got to second.
So I got to do second now.
Great.
And I just want to say I feel for whoever wrote this. You know, I've been in a time crunch before and had to write something, and then I get that Andy Means DM like saying what you just wrote is wrong, and it's like, oh no.
We've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Andy's last name is very appropriate.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, second base.
You know what? He doesn't even say anything bad or mean. It's like the power. You just feel it. I don't know.
Hey there, Kirk. Just in case you didn't notice.
It's like the nicest message, probably.
It's exactly it to a T. Yeah, it's like you just don't want to disappoint him. He has that kind of authority. You know, he's like the parental unit.
That's like that disappointed dad. When he's mad at you, it's not mad, it's disappointed dad. Like I expected better from you. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Man.
All right, second base, Altuve, Brandon Lau. If you want Xavier Edwards potentially to steal a bag, betting, leading off for the Marlins, always there. Jackson Holiday, Jazz Chisholm. It's pretty good. Second base, as Dave was saying. And Bryson Stott maybe down in the order, probably gets less play because of that against the Miami, but those are the guys.
Okay, third base, Kirkwood. All
right, third base. My favorite play, I'm just going to start off with him, is Ryan McMahon. He's been on a little bit of a run homering, and the Rockies have been hitting a little better. I couldn't believe they just scored 10 runs and won a game in Atlanta, which is just like crazy. You would think like maybe Acuna would have gotten like traded or something instead of Devers, after beating the Yankees. Just a weird scenario. Anyways, like him the best just because of price, and I think he's got massive home run upside in this game against Irvin, who has less swing strike rate than Dean Shevelson. So let's go, fire him in. If I'm not playing him, I would look to go higher for like Manny Machado at 5,400. Alec Boehm is playable. He's batting third, 3,800. I'm worried about Rosario, but he's going to be chalk, so I should list him. Rosario, fifth in the order for the Nationals, who have been slumping like this. They were so good, and then all of a sudden they're in a massive slump right now. And then other than that, I can name Jordan Westberg, who they've moved up, batting cleanup for 4,100. That's extremely reasonable. And always our boy Junior Caminero.
I approve of that one. Cheese, third base.
Yeah, Ryan McMahon. We don't have a lot of the usual great spend ups. I mean, you can always play Machado. I think he and Jazz Chisholm are probably the best plays, but I don't think it's a position you have to spend on because I do like McMahon. Washington has so many moving parts. I don't think there's any real way to know for sure who gets pinch hit for and who doesn't. I think it comes down to the situation in the game when the pitching change happens. But I lean towards thinking Rosario comes out in favor of Luis Garcia. I don't know, but it makes me not love Rosario really outside of full stacks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anyone else to mention. It's a bunch of stuff that's fine in a stack. But that's it.
Okay, let's go to shortstop.
Yeah, another position that's just like it's all fine, but none of it's great. Like I guess Gunnar Henderson is my favorite. Again, everything the favorites is very air quotes here. I do like spending up to be different on CJ Abrams. Spend up for lefty. Even if he strikes out twice against Palmquist, he'll still get the Rockies bullpen, which is a great place to be hitting against. Pena is fine. He's like my third favorite Astro, which that's not a high mark to have, but I don't know. JP Crawford is fine. I have nothing else to say. It's fine.
Yeah. Kirkwood, do you have something that is more fine than the rest?
No, did he mention Trey Turner?
I don't believe so.
Absolutely not.
That would be the only guy I would add to the list. I'm playing Jacob Wilson, but that's because of Oakland stack.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the outfield.
All right. Outfield. Again, Tatis's price just always stare. Anything under 5K for Tatis's price. Yeah, I know he's been down this season, but I'm still playing. He did just have a nice 29 fantasy point game in his last one against the D-backs. Actually, he's coming off 3 games and solid games in a row, and his price moved from 47 to 49. So I'm keep pounding him. Brent Rooker, home run upside. I prefer the lefties for against Gusto, but Rooker against anyone, like I said before. So I like that. I like Lawrence Butler. I like Soderstrom. All the A's power are lefties. Schwarber is in play. The cheap punt and James Wood is in play, sure, too, as well. The cheap punt of the day is Alex Call at 3,700 leading off. Some good pedigree there. Probably it's just the fact that he's facing Colorado mainly and gets that lineup position, but I can't say anything bad about him for 3,700. Obviously, Aaron Judge, you can always play. Julio Rodriguez, and I'm intentionally leaving out the Astros, which would be my favorite play of the day coming into the day was going to be Cam Smith for the Astros, but I want a lefty for that scenario, so I'm out on him.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, your favorites in the outfield.
Yeah, I'll say so. Cam Smith and Brendan Rodgers are the two guys that it does matter that it's not JP Sears starting for me. So outfield's pretty good. I do love all the A's guys, Rooker, Soderstrom, Butler. I agree with Tatis. Like he looks good again. I mean, he has like double-digit points in, I don't know, 6 of 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Barking dog. I think kind of again, I'm guessing on the Nationals. I think Alex Call is probably okay because the lefty outfielders who would come in for him are already playing. So if I have to pick pinch hit risk, I think Call is probably going to be okay. This whole Orioles Rays game is just very. It could go any direction, anywhere. Like I've got a little bit of O'Hearn, Mullins, Hauser, Josh Lowe, but I don't love any of them. Is there someone else I meant to mention? So we haven't said anything really about the Angels.
Yeah, we should be higher on them, I think.
Yeah, and we're playing some Clark Schmidt. But the thing about Clark Schmidt that I said in the musings is, well, he does look good against righties. The fact that he hasn't allowed power to righties is pretty much just fluke. Like he's a fly ball pitcher, and they have a lot of power. So I would throw a little Trout, at least Trout and Ward in there. And if you want to do more than that, I think that's fine. Certainly some upside. My favorite cheap guy, again, air quotes favorite, is Mickey Moniak. JJ Bleday is in the lineup, so you put him there as well. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Kirkwood, did I see a dog?
Yeah, all of a sudden he heard Dave's dog bark, and he.
Now we're having. Oh man. Dog off.
I'm lying because he's completely deaf, so he didn't hear.
Cute dogs. Thank you for that. It was a good little break and a good time to transition into some home run talk. You know, the people want some bombs. You've got about 5 minutes to get your bets in here if you want to do that before lock. So while the gentlemen think of that, I'll let you know the MLB DFS annual option. It's 425 dog bones, but we dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to match the MLB price. So we're giving you all the sports for just the price of baseball, you save 35% by going with the 6-month option. So make sure you are doing that. Let's do some home run calls. Kirkwood, give me some dog bombs.
All right. I'm going to go with the guys I like. I'm going to say Tatis goes yard against the Dodgers. And I am going to say Ryan McMahon hits a homer today again. And then I'll take my this isn't going to shock anyone, but Tyler Soderstrom for the A's to hit one.
Very good. Cheese, who you got for some Scooby snacks? Oh, there we are.
Yeah. So Kirk just threw me for a loop. He said he's going to say the guys he likes. Have we supposed to be doing this the whole time?
Yeah, that's ideal. That's
all right. So let me change then.
It's not blow your mind right there.
It does. It was like, wait a second, we can do it that way. There's actually a bunch of cheap stuff.
Sorry, never mind.
No, I know what you mean. So let's do some cheap stuff. I didn't even mention Rowdy Tellez, and he's an everyday cheap bomb waiting to happen. So I'm gonna do him and Mickey Moniak. And then another guy we didn't even mention, Kyle Stowers.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. We're getting some questions about the gutless rankings. Mab wants to know if the O's are now on top of the gutless rankings for this season only. They're in the mix, Kirkwood.
Not this while you've been away on vacation. They have completely heated up. So they're down, hanging on by a thread to see. We're going to find out real soon whether they're going to stay in the gutless category or they've moved on and finally figured some things out.
They really turned it around. Okay. Let's see. Jump into the Discord. Make sure I still have the Discord. There we go. We do. Someone asked how vacation was. It was great. Thank you, Lone Star. Appreciate that. Logan Gilbert with 80 pitches. Is that okay? And can we roster him in cash? The homie's almost 10K. If not him, Cheese, who are you playing with Schmidt?
So for the first thing I'll say is I've projected him for 80 pitches all day. Like that was what I said this morning. Is I think he gets 80 pitches. The thing is, you don't need the salary. Like he's not going to give you a ceiling game for 10. He's not going to be, again, I have so many air quotes. He's going to be worth 10K, but you don't need the salary. Like he's the only guy with any sort of floor, and that's what you want in cash. So I actually think he's an ideal cash play. Like because you don't need a ceiling. You don't need Ohtani and Judge in cash. So I would play him with Schmidt. That's my answer.
We Major says your favorite pitcher in a FanDuel tournament. I'll get this answer from both of you. Kirkwood, you can go first, though.
I guess I would have to say for tournaments, Pepio.
Okay.
No, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to stick with Cease for tournaments, even lower on. I think.
Yeah, see, I do like Cease. You said FanDuel, right?
Yes, FanDuel.
So I will mention, like, Sandy Alcantara is 7,100 on FanDuel. And again, you don't really need the salary, but like he seems kind of back. Probably not back, but like not horrible anymore. I think 71 is a little cheap for him, so I would be okay with that.
Back in the context of playable on this slate.
Yeah.
Not back in that we want him typically.
Right. Not who he was 3 years ago by any means.
Yeah. Marquise says bums. I don't know if he's talking to us or he's talking about the Orioles or what. Hopefully it's not to us. Let us know. Cheese, Joey wants to know if we're overlooking Philadelphia lefties a little bit or possibly Seattle lefties.
So, yes, sort of. Like, definitely Schwarber. I don't like the other Philly lefties enough to really say anything about them. Like, they're very much in the mix for, like, if they scored the most runs on the slate, I won't be shocked. I prefer Seattle lefties. And, yeah, I think they'll be under-owned. I like the Raleigh, Polanco, Tellez group.
Yeah. Okay. I got another one on the Discord. I want to get to that before lock. Last piece, Kirkwood, of an A's mini stack on DK. You want Butler or Rooker there?
That's a tough one. You should take the lefties, but Rooker has like the real like triple bomb upside. So I guess I'll go. I like them both, but I'll go Rooker.
Okay. Peter says Kirkwood, DK large field GPP. What do you think about Schmidt and Irvin? If not, give me something better.
I mean, that's fine. I don't really. Schmidt is chalk. Irvin pretty much chalk, but I'm personally off of Irvin, and Dave is as well. I get it. He's facing the Rockies. Anyone with a pulse you can throw against him, but I would probably look to go to Abel from potentially on DK or on FanDuel, or did he say what site?
A DK large field, so it was Schmidt
DK,
and Irwin.
Yeah, two. Yeah. I like Cease, like I said, but yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese, we have hit the lock. We'll throw in a few questions. Maybe it's too late. I don't know who's playing where. MacGyver. I'm just reading the teleprompter. MacGyver and Tatis or Goodman and Beck, DK single entry.
Say the question again.
You're going to make me just say MacGyver and Tatis or Goodman and Beck.
I like Goodman and Beck. I just want to say, and I know it's shocking and disappointing that a guy named MacGyver is not doing any bombs.
Oh, wow. Is his real name MacGyver? I just assumed that was
MacIver. It's MacIver. Yeah.
Yeah. He obviously needs to do bombs. That's just, when MacGyver.
He shouldn't even need to do much to get him. Give the guy a rubber band and a baseball bat, and he's making bombs out there.
Figure it out. Give me a traffic cone, a snorkel, and a baseball bat. Let's see. Take a few more of these, and then we'll bounce on out of here. Last piece of an A's mini stack: Butler or Rooker. We did that. It was kind of both are fine.
My bad.
Rooker. Yeah, but Rooker, for the upside, more upside, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we have basically come here to do all the things that we came here to do. DKGPP, Irvin or Mucho Gusto, Cheese?
I have 0 of both combined. If that's really what you feel like you need to do, I would do Irvin over Gusto. But I don't like either.
Did you go to Disney, Roth?
I did a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why do you?
I thought that maybe that was where you were on vacation. Didn't remember. I just remembered you going to Disney at some point.
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. I went to Disneyland, not Disney World.
Okay.
There are big
good time. Good time though.
Really good time. Yeah. Crazy expensive. Like crazy, like way more than you think expensive, but good time. Okay, let's bounce on out of here. We hit the lock. If you have any questions about Disney, you fire away. I've got those. But let's bounce. We have answered all the questions. Gave the hitters, gave the pitchers, did the things we came here to do. So let's clear out for Cheese, for Kirkwood, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.